Welcome to the inaugural Worcester Regional Retirement System webinar. My name is Michael Sacco. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the system, and today I'm going to walk you through a slide presentation with retirement basics. Ordinarily, I would be doing this presentation around the county, but unfortunately, due to COVID-19, my plans have changed. But we still want to get you all the information that you deserve as a member of the system. So sit back, hopefully with an adult beverage of choice, and enjoy the presentation, and hopefully by the end you'll learn something a little bit that you didn't already know.
So let's begin. There are 5 board members. The chairman is appointed for a 6-year term by the other 4 members. There's a member from the advisory council who serves a 3-year term. There are 2 elected members who are elected by the active and retired members of the retirement system, each for 3-year terms. And then there is a 5th member who is appointed by the other 4 members for a 5-year term. The board's primary duties are the management and investment of the system's assets and the administration of benefits for the members of the regional retirement system. Board members are fiduciaries, which means their responsibilities must be undertaken with the care, skill, prudence, and diligence under the circumstances then prevailing that a prudent person acting in a like capacity and familiar with such matters would use in the conduct of an enterprise of a like character. The Board of Director meetings occur monthly, and it is usually the last Tuesday of every month at 8 a.m. here at our offices at 23 Midstate Drive. The Worcester Regional Retirement System is one of 104 contributory retirement systems in the Commonwealth, and we are one of the oldest funds, having been formed and created in 1911. We implement the provisions of Mass General Laws Chapter 32, which essentially is the retirement plan for these 104 contributory retirement systems, and this plan includes the benefit structure for members and beneficiaries, the contribution requirements that each member is required to remit to the retirement system, the accounting requirements, and the fund structure for all of the retirement systems. Here at Worcester Regional, we have a staff of 9 dedicated professionals who are here to answer any questions that you have and address all your needs. The Worcester Regional Retirement System is currently comprised of approximately 7,800 active employees and 3,800 retired members, which include survivors and beneficiaries. We also have 1,800 inactive members. These are individuals who have left employment and also left their funds on deposit here in the system. We have 100 member units, which include 50 towns, 14 school districts, 22 housing authorities, 9 water districts, and 2 sewer districts. At the time this slide presentation was created in December 2020, the retirement system had approximately $838 million in assets. The board invests those assets with the PRIT Core Fund. PRIT is the acronym for the Pension Reserve Investment Trust, and this is a fund that was statutorily created primarily for the state retirement system and the teachers retirement system, the 2 largest systems in the Commonwealth. Local, regional, and county retirement boards also have the opportunity to invest in the PRIT Core Fund, which is managed by the PRIM board. PRIM stands for Pension Reserve Investment Management Board. Now the assets come from 3 sources: your contributions, the deductions that are taken from your paychecks, your employer, who annually remits appropriations to the system to help fund the system, and the investment returns that the board receives for investing in the PRIT Core Fund. You may have heard the term unfunded liability. What that means is when you look at the accrued liabilities of the system and compare it to the assets of the system, if that is a negative number, that is an unfunded liability. Currently, Worcester Regional's unfunded liability is approximately $800 million, and we have a funding ratio of a little more than 45%. Let's talk about retirement basics. We're going to touch upon membership, members' contributions, interest and retirement allowance, the types of retirement, and the payment options that are available to you when you retire. The Worcester Regional Retirement System is a defined benefit plan. What that means is that the benefit structure is a creation of the legislature and is defined by the retirement law. Membership in the retirement system is mandatory, meaning if you qualify for membership, you must become a member, and if you do not qualify for membership, you cannot become a member. Now, members of the retirement system are classified in one of four groups. Group 1. Most employees are in Group 1. They're comprised of the officials, general employees, administrative, clerical, laborers, and so forth. Group 2 are employees that perform in physically demanding or hazardous occupations such as ambulance attendants, mental health, hospital workers, and licensed electricians. Group 3 is comprised of the state police, who are exclusively members of the state retirement system, so there are no Group 3 members in our system. And Group 4 is comprised of public safety officers, firefighters, police officers, and correctional officers at the state level. There's also a local option for EMTs to be classified as Group 4. As a member, you contribute a percentage of your regular compensation based on when you became a member of the system. Based on those dates on your screen, you either contribute 5%, 7%, 8%, or 9% of your regular compensation to the system. And for those members who became first employed after January 1st of 1979, an additional 2% is withheld on earnings in excess of $30,000. The interest rate for 2020 was 0.1%. This interest rate was derived by PERAC, who is our oversight authority, that stands for the Public Employee Retirement Administration Commission, in consultation with the Commissioner of Banks after surveying at least 10 local banks with respect to the interest that is being paid on individual savings accounts. Now, unless you leave the system and withdraw your contributions, the interest rate has little bearing on the benefit payment because we are a defined benefit plan. If you voluntarily resign from public service, then you will be entitled to a return of your accumulated deductions. The interest that will be credited depends on your years of service. If you have less than 10 years of service, your account will be credited with 3% interest. But if you have more than 10 years of service, your account will be credited with regular interest. Remember, regular interest is the amount of interest we discussed on the preceding slide, which is the amount that is credited to your annuity savings account on an annual basis based on that survey conducted with the 10 local banks. There are 5 types of retirement benefits that the system pays out: a superannuation retirement, ordinary disability, accidental disability, survivorship, which are available to the spouses of members who die prior to retirement, and a termination allowance. The superannuation retirement, which is sometimes referred to as a regular retirement, is a retirement that is based on your age and your service. To qualify for a regular retirement benefit, you must be at least 55 years old with 10 years of service, or if you have 20 years of service, irrespective of your age, you may retire. With Group 4, there is no minimum service requirement. You only need to be age 55 to retire. And the basic retirement allowance formula is set forth by multiplying your 3-year average rate of compensation multiplied by your years of service and further multiplied by a percentage that is determined by your age and your group classification. When utilizing that retirement formula, the maximum benefit is 80% of your highest 3-year rate of regular compensation. For a Group 1 employee, 80% is achieved after reaching age 65 with 32 years of service, and for Group 4, 80% is achieved after reaching age 55 with 32 years of service. This benefit is exempt from state tax. As a result of the pension reform legislation that was passed in 2011, for those individuals who become members on or after April 2, 2012, there have been changes to the benefit formula. There are now new age factors. The maximum age factor is 2.5, and prior to April 2nd of 2012, the maximum age for each group classification were 65, 60, and 55. Those factors have now been increased for Group 1 at age 67, Group 2 at age 62, and Group 4 at age 57. There also is now a minimum age at which a member can retire, which is 60 years of age for Group 1. Members also now must use a high 5-year average as opposed to a high 3-year salary average. And the legislation also eliminated the 20-year retirement provision. So for those individuals who become members on or after April 2nd of 2012, even if you accrue 20 years of service, you cannot retire based on your years of service. If you are a member in service or on an authorized leave of absence, you can apply to retire with the Retirement Board no earlier than 4 months prior to your intended date of retirement. We will ask that you provide certain information and documentation to the board if we don't already have it, such as a birth certificate for both you and your spouse, a marriage certificate, a DD-214 form, and verification of student status and proof of age for dependent children if you are applying for an accidental disability. Once the application is submitted, the board must await the final payroll deduction that it receives from your employing unit before it can finalize your calculation. Once we receive those final payroll figures, we will then calculate your retirement allowance and send it to PERAC for approval. Your first check will generally arrive approximately 12 weeks from the date of your retirement. However, it will be retroactive to your date of retirement. After you receive that first check, your retirement allowance is due and payable on the last business day of each month. And as always, direct deposit is the best way to ensure that your funds will get to you in a timely manner. Now, as I discussed earlier, the retirement formula is based on 3 factors: your creditable service multiplied by an age factor and then multiplied by a 3-year, or if it's after April 2nd of 2012, a 5-year salary average. Your retirement allowance consists of 2 parts, annuity and a pension. Ordinarily, we refer to a retirement allowance as a pension, but as you can see, there are actually 2 different components. The annuity are your contributions and interest, which comprise about 20% of your monthly retirement allowance, and the pension portion, which is the appropriation that your employer makes annually to the retirement system, amounts to approximately 80% of your monthly allowance. You have 3 different retirement options from which to choose. Option A provides you with the highest payment, but there is no payment to a survivor after your death. When you die, the benefit dies with you. Under option B, it's a slightly reduced benefit, usually about 2% less than option A, which also terminates at your date of death. However, if there's any money left in your annuity, that balance is paid out to a beneficiary or beneficiaries of your choice. Option C provides a reduced payment, which is usually approximately 8% to 12% less than the Option A benefit during the retiree's lifetime, and upon the retiree's death, the beneficiary would receive 2/3 of the amount that was payable to the retiree. If the beneficiary predeceases the member, then the member will pop up to Option A for the rest of his or her life. Accidental disability retirement is available to members who are permanently unable to perform their position's essential duties as a result of an illness or injury sustained in the actual performance of those duties. Now, the amount of the allowance is 72% of the member's regular compensation plus a portion of the annuity based on the contributions that have been made to the system. And there's also an allowance for dependent children. The entire allowance is exempt from state taxation, and the pension portion of the allowance is also exempt from federal taxation. Public safety officers, police officers, and firefighters are covered by statutory presumptions. Police officers are covered by what's known as the Hart Law presumption, which means any impairment of health as a result of hypertension or heart disease that results in disability is presumed to have been sustained in the line of duty. You are not required to prove that your hypertension or heart disease was the result of an injury sustained in the performance of your duties. Firefighters also receive the benefit of the Hart Law presumption, but there are two additional presumptions, the lung presumption and the cancer presumption, which are exactly as they sound. If a firefighter becomes incapacitated as a result of an impairment of health due to a lung condition or as a result of a cancer diagnosis, those conditions are also presumed to have been sustained in the line of duty. An accidental disability benefit is capped at 75% for members who join the system after January 1 of 1988. For any member who joined the system prior to that, there is no cap on the benefit. An ordinary disability retirement is available to members who are permanently unable to perform their essential duties, but that inability is not the result of an injury that was suffered in the performance of those duties. A member must have 10 years of creditable service prior to becoming disabled and be under age 55 to qualify for an ordinary disability retirement. The reason you must be under age 55 is because the benefit is calculated as if you were 55 years of age, unless you are a veteran. If you're a veteran, you receive 50% of your salary that you were receiving in the 12 months prior to your retirement. Similar to a superannuation retirement, an ordinary disability retirement is exempt from state tax. There is also a termination allowance available for members who have completed 20 years of service, and this is only available to individuals who were members prior to April 2nd of 2012. For those members, if you failed to be nominated, reappointed, reelected, if your position was abolished, or if you were removed or discharged for a cause other than moral turpitude, violation of the rules and regulations, collusion, or conspiracy, you will be eligible to receive the termination allowance. This allowance is also available to members who have completed 30 years of service and voluntarily terminate. The calculation for this benefit is a straight 1/3 of your regular compensation plus a portion of your annuity. As a member of the retirement system, you do have the ability to buy back or purchase prior service rendered in this or another retirement system. You also have the ability to purchase public service rendered when you were not eligible to become a member of a local, county, or state retirement system. For example, if you worked summers in college for your local municipality or for the Commonwealth in some capacity. You likely were not able to join a retirement system then, but as a member now, you are eligible to purchase that service. According to state statute, once you become a member of the retirement system, you have 1 year to buy back any prior non-membership service or previous service that you had rendered and perhaps taken a refund. You must purchase that service within the first year of your membership in order to have that purchase be calculated at 1/2 of the actuarial assumed rate of interest, which currently is 3.825%. However, if you purchase the service beyond your first year of membership, you must pay the full actuarial amount, which is 7.65%. For those of you reading this and hearing this during your first year of membership, you should contact us at your earliest convenience so that we can discuss this with you more specifically. I just want to touch briefly upon Social Security benefits. Many public employees have a second job where they work in the private sector and contribute to Social Security. And if you have 30 years of substantial earnings, then you will be able to collect your Social Security and your public retirement allowance without any offset. However, if you don't have 30 years of substantial earnings, then your benefit or any spousal benefit you may claim is subject to reduction. There are 2 federal provisions. The first is called the windfall elimination provision, and the second is called the government pension offset, otherwise known as the WEP or GPO. This affects spouses, widows, and widowers in terms of their benefits. Your retirement benefit that you receive from the Worcester Regional Retirement System will not be impacted, but as I mentioned, your Social Security will. So if you fall in this category, you can either go to the website on the screen, or you can call that number 1-800-772-1213, and you can speak to someone at the Social Security Administration, describe to them your situation, and find out whether or not you will be subject to this offset. Veterans are allowed to purchase up to 4 years of service for serving in the armed forces for active duty. There's also a provision in the law that allows 1 year of credit for every 5 years of active reserve or Massachusetts National Guard service. To receive this credit, you must have been honorably discharged, and you must also produce what is known as a DD-214 discharge form, which will tell us that you were honorably discharged and also provide us with the years in which you were in the military. If you are a veteran, we thank you for your service. Please contact our office for more information regarding this benefit. The definition of veteran has changed over the years. Previously, to be qualified as a veteran, the individual was required to serve at least 1 day of what was known as wartime service. However, now, if a member has served 180 days of active duty, he or she will qualify as a veteran. This change also allows National Guard service of not less than 90 days with at least 1 day of wartime service to qualify. Again, it's important to note that active duty for training is not considered active duty. I want to thank you for your time and attention, and if you have any questions, please give us a call at 508-832-6314, and the appropriate staff person will be more than happy to help you.
So thank you for watching. Hopefully, as advertised, you've received a little more information than you had before you started. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call. The number is on your screen, and either my staff or I will be able to help you with any questions that you have. Have a great day.